In My Hero Ultra Rumble, several characters have alternate battle styles. Each battle style shifts a character into a completely different role, with new abilities, strengths, and playstyles that can make them feel like an entirely new character. One example of this is the Ochaco battle styles. The rapid version of Ochaco is focused toward mobility, while the assault version is centered around high damage and versatility. Even though they technically share the same character, they play very differently. So the question is simple: which Ochaco is better? My name's Yestermorn, and in this video we're breaking down Rapid Ochaco versus Assault Ochaco, comparing their abilities, playstyles, strengths, weaknesses, and how each one performs in today's competitive environment. If you enjoy in-depth character breakdowns like this, consider liking the video or subscribing. I've been putting out Ultra Rumble videos consistently, and there's plenty more on the way. With that said, let's get into it. First, we'll compare each Ochaco's abilities, starting with their alpha. Rapid Ochaco's alpha, Zodiac Wire, fires a wire from her arm that deals damage to enemies. However, when used in the air, it can also latch onto opponents or terrain to pull Ochaco forward. On its own, this gives her a ton of mobility, but when it's combined with her special action, Flow, it becomes one of the best movement options in the entire game. The downside is that she only gets 3 charges at every level, so missing your shots can leave you in a really bad position. Because of that, you generally shouldn't use Zodiac Wire purely for damage the way other characters use their alphas. It's the core of her mobility, so managing those charges properly is one of the most important parts of playing Rapid Ochaco effectively. Assault Ochaco's alpha, Comet Bunt, serves 2 very different purposes depending on how it's used. When tapped normally, she swings a sign like a baseball bat and launches a chunk of debris at her target. Compared to most range alphas in the game, Comet Bunt trades speed for power. The projectile hits hard and has a fairly large hitbox, but it travels slower and takes longer to fire than something like Assault Deku or Strike Shoto's alphas. In the right situations, that extra damage can be well worth the trade-off. If the ability is held, however, Ochaco skips launching the debris and instead charges directly at the enemy herself. This version deals massive damage, sends opponents flying, and comes out surprisingly fast with decent tracking. Because of how hard it hits and how difficult it can be to avoid, this is easily Assault Ochaco's most infamous move, and one of the main reasons she can be such a threatening character to fight. Both Ochaco's alphas are very different from each other, and they also stand out from traditional alpha attacks in general. Zodiac Wire's primary purpose is movement rather than huge damage, giving Rapid Ochaco incredible mobility and allowing her to quickly reposition around the battlefield. While it can and should be used offensively, its real value comes from how much freedom it gives her. Comet Bunt, on the other hand, combines a ranged projectile with a powerful close-range attack in the same ability. Depending on how it's used, it can either pressure enemies from a distance or punish them up close. Despite functioning very differently, both alphas are extremely versatile and fit their respective battle styles perfectly. Rapid Ochaco's alpha emphasizes speed and mobility, while Assault Ochaco's focuses on damage and knockdown, helping each version of the character excel in their own unique way. Now let's look at their beta abilities, starting with Rapid Ochaco. Her beta, Home Run Comet, has Ochaco swing a piece of debris around her before throwing it forward. As the ability levels up, the object she uses gets larger and stronger. At level 4, the debris upgrades into a cement pillar, and at level 7, it becomes a car. Each upgrade increases the size and overall effectiveness of the attack. This is Rapid Ochaco's primary damage tool and the move she'll rely on most when fighting enemies directly. Much like Assault Ochaco's alpha, Home Run Comet can function as both a close-range attack and a projectile, making it very versatile. If an enemy gets right on top of you, the spinning portion can deal surprisingly high damage, while a thrown projectile gives Ochaco a much-needed range option. Since Zodiac Wire only has 3 charges and is usually reserved for movement, having another way to damage opponents from a distance is extremely important. Assault Ochaco's beta is Zero Satellites, the move the battle style is named after. With this ability, Ochaco attaches several pieces of debris to her arms and spins them around like helicopter blades, allowing her to fly through the air. Any enemy caught in the attack will be carried along with it and take some pretty significant damage before being launched away. This is Assault Ochaco's primary movement ability and the main way she gets around. While it doesn't last very long and won't take her nearly as far as some other characters can travel, it's still very strong mobility for an assault character. The move is useful both offensively and defensively, letting Ochaco chase down opponents, reposition during fights, or make a quick escape. And if you manage to catch someone in the attack while doing so, the extra damage is a nice bonus. Even though both of these attacks involve Ochaco spinning around, they aren't similar at all. Home Run Comet is a primarily damage-focused ability that gives Rapid Ochaco both close-range pressure and a projectile attack, while Zero Satellites is first and foremost a movement tool. One is designed to help Rapid Ochaco deal damage and stay offensive, while the other helps Assault Ochaco reposition, chase enemies, and stay mobile during fights. Despite sharing a similar visual concept, they serve completely different roles within their respective kits. Lastly, let's compare their gammas. Rapid Ochaco's gamma is Nebula Space. With this ability, she creates a circular field on the ground that causes debris and any enemies caught inside to float into the air. Opponents trapped in the field take damage and are briefly immobilized, leaving them vulnerable to follow-up attacks. While the field is active, Ochaco can activate the ability a second time to cancel it, causing all of the floating debris to come crashing back down. This deals additional damage to trapped enemies and can also hit anyone standing below the debris. As you can probably tell, this is Rapid Ochaco's most technical ability and one of the more technical abilities in the entire game. It has a ton of uses beyond simply dealing damage. It can be used as a combo starter, a wake-up catcher, an area denial tool, or even a defensive ability. For example, if a teammate is down, you can place Nebula Space on top of them and threaten anyone who tries to get close with the falling debris. The first activation can be a little difficult to land because of its delay and grounded nature, but the sheer number of situations where the move is useful more than makes up for that drawback. Assault Ochaco's gamma, Nebula Runway, is fairly similar to Rapid Ochaco's Nebula Space. It still causes debris and enemies to float, but instead of affecting a circular area, it travels in a straight line in front of her. Any opponents caught in the attack take damage and are briefly immobilized, making it a useful tool for setting up follow-up attacks. Unlike Nebula Space, however, Assault Ochaco cannot manually cancel the float effect for additional damage. Instead, the move has an entirely different secondary function. By holding the ability, Ochaco lifts a massive chunk of earth beneath her feet, creating what is essentially a small floating island in the sky. Enemies caught in the initial lift take damage, and the island itself will eventually fall back to the ground, dealing damage again. However, the real strength of this ability isn't its damage output, it's the utility it provides. The island can be incredibly useful for safely using healing items, reviving teammates, or simply creating space between yourself and an enemy team. While characters with strong mobility can often chase you up to the platform, many characters simply can't. Even if you don't have enough time to fully heal, the high-end temporary safety it provides can buy you a few extra seconds or give you a better position to work from. Both gammas are pretty similar on the surface, but they end up serving very different purposes in practice. Nebula Space is a highly versatile ability that can lead to huge amounts of damage when used correctly. Between the initial float, the follow-up debris drop, and the combo opportunities it creates, Rapid Ochaco can get a ton of value out of a single well-placed gamma. Nebula Runway can also deal respectable damage in setup follow-ups, but its real strength lies in the utility provided by the floating platform. It gives Assault Ochaco a safe place to heal, revive teammates, reposition, or simply buy time when a fight starts going south. Nebula Runway is definitely the easier ability to land thanks to its linear hitbox and the fact it has 2 charges, allowing you to use it more freely. Nebula Space, on the other hand, requires much better timing and positioning to get consistent value from. However, when it does connect, the payoff is usually much higher. Rapid Ochaco can convert a successful gamma into massive damage or extended combos, while Assault Ochaco can use hers to gain an advantage through positioning and utility rather than raw offense. Both are excellent abilities, but they reflect the different goals of each battle style perfectly. Rapid Ochaco's gamma rewards technical play and combo execution, while Assault Ochaco's focuses on control, survivability, and creating opportunities for herself and her team. It's no surprise that both versions of Ochaco play very differently. Rapid Ochaco is focused on mobility, versatility, and technical gameplay. Her kit gives her a little bit of everything: great movement, solid damage, combo potential, area control, and even some utility. Because of that, she's one of the more well-rounded Rapid characters in the game. While many Rapids are only focused on movement, Rapid Ochaco is capable of doing more. The trade-off is that she has a lower health pool at 300 HP and requires good resource management, especially when it comes to her alpha charges. A skilled Rapid Ochaco player is constantly moving around, looking for opportunities to deal damage while staying just out of reach. Assault Ochaco, on the other hand, is much more straightforward. She trades some of Rapid Ochaco's mobility and technical complexity for higher damage, stronger pressure, and increased survivability. With 350 HP, she can afford to take more risk and stay in fights longer. Many of her abilities hit extremely hard and have large hitboxes, making her a constant threat whenever she gets close. While she still has access to movement through 0 satellites, her primary goal is usually to overwhelm opponents with damage rather than constantly weaving in and out of combat. So, which Ochaco is better in the current meta? Right now, I think Rapid Ochaco takes it. Even though the gap between the two is fairly small, Rapid Ochaco is just one of the most complete characters in the game. There really isn't much that she can't do. Because of how versatile and well-rounded her kit is, she's able to adapt to different situations better than most characters. Assault Ochaco is still a very strong character in her own right. She has a higher health, harder hitting abilities, and can be extremely oppressive. However, while her kit offers a little bit of everything, it also feels like she spreads herself slightly too thin. She has good mobility, good damage, and good utility, but she doesn't quite excel in any one area the way Rapid Ochaco excels at movement and flexibility. Both battle styles are viable and can be very effective in the right hands, but if I had to choose one in the current meta, I'd give the edge to Rapid Ochaco. That's going to do it for this video. Which Ochaco battle style do you prefer, Rapid or Assault? Let me know in the comments, and if you'd like to see more battle style comparisons, be sure to tell me. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking it or subscribing for more Ultra Rumble content. Thanks for watching, this has been Yestermorn, and I'll see you in the next one.